Hi there, Dr. Debi Silber here, founder and CEO of the PBT, Betrayal Transformation Institute. Wanted to go live because this is something that I'm seeing in my private sessions recently. And this is something that we can't change what we're unaware of, right? So I want to make you aware of something. An unhealed betrayal is very likely holding you back from the work, the health, the relationships you want most. In my most recent sessions, and I work with very intelligent, very motivated, very skilled professionals who are really doing beautifully in other areas of life. And they're wondering, why is it something still missing? And so what's happening is they're working harder. They're putting in more effort. And I had this visual of a jug. Now imagine if you have a jug and imagine the jug has a hole in it. And instead of plugging up the hole in the jug, what you're doing is you keep adding more water to it. I just wrote a blog post about this yesterday, and I was like, you know what, this is something worth speaking about. But so you keep adding more to it, and you're wondering, why is it that the water is not staying in the jug? And the water represents more effort. So we keep efforting and putting in more and more and more effort when we're not plugging up the hole in the jug. And that's the reason why we're not having the results that we want. I remember working with someone, and she created this incredible fitness program and eating well and the whole thing. And she said, well, Dr. Debbie, let me tell you what I'm doing. Isn't this great? And she told me all about her health plans. And I said, well, that's great if that's your problem. You see, the problem was the unhealed betrayal, and she was doing everything but looking at and healing the betrayal. Now, here is something so sneaky. Even if it happened years ago, it's impacting you now. And so many very, very smart people are assuming, well, it happened 10 years ago, it happened 20 years ago. It can't be impacting me now. Yes, it can. Betrayal is one of those things that until and unless you intentionally and deliberately heal it, it will follow you around in your work, in your health, in your relationships. And I just see this, especially with really bright, really super smart, super successful people. And one of the biggest reasons why this betrayal is following them around is they're using the wrong tool for the job. And by that, I mean their brilliant mind has gotten them so far. That's the tool they've used. Well, unfortunately, when it comes to betrayal, we need a different tool for the job. And when we're using the same tool that may have created a certain level of success in, let's say, business, it's a very different thing as it relates to betrayal. So your intelligence has nothing in the world to do with why you were betrayed, and certainly has nothing in the world to do with your healing. And I really hope this lands for those super successful, very driven, very hardworking people, because this is, it serves as a block. Now, here's something that also happens when you're, let's say, with work, or let's say with health, where you're really putting the effort in. It actually acts as a very confusing distraction. Here's what I mean. When we numb, avoid, and distract through things like food, alcohol, drugs, it's obvious we're trying to escape something that's painful, something that's uncomfortable. We're trying to outrun from something where we may not be ready, willing, able to face, right? So we go to those things that we know this is not in my best interest, but I want to run from it. And it's sort of like, when you were a kid, and if someone was saying something to you you didn't want to hear, you'd stick your fingers in your ear like, la, 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 I don't hear you, right? Well, as an adult, we can't really do that. So that's our way of doing that same thing. But think about this. When we use something like work, when we use something like fitness, we're commended for it. It's like, wow, look at you. You are so disciplined. You're so hardworking. We get commended for it. So now think about how sneaky that is. We're subtly or unconsciously using it as a distraction. We get commended for it, and so that betrayal goes unhealed. And I hope this makes sense, because you don't need me bringing you the obvious things that that you may be aware of in your everyday. I'm hoping to bring you things that you haven't considered, because they're the blocks. These are the blocks. And so even though you may have this incredible fitness plan or eating plan, or you may be working super hard, that's nice and all, but when you're using them as a reason to avoid healing from the betrayal, it's a hole in the jug. And you're going to try harder, you're going to effort more, you're going to put more work into it. But if that hole is still there, no matter how much effort, no matter what you do, you're going to be leaking that tremendous energy. That's really what it is. Now, when it comes to healing from betrayal, I always say, face it, feel it, heal it. And that's because that's the only way through. Now, the way through the proven predictable 5 stages of betrayal recovery, most people who are efforting, who are putting in this tremendous effort to outrun it, to numb it, to avoid it, that's very much a stage 3 position. Now, most people get stuck in stage 3. So if that's where you are, no, that's where the majority of people are. You have survived your experience. You've created a functioning life. You're able to function, you're able to work, you're able to take care of your kids, your elderly parents, whatever you have going on. And so you assume, okay, this is what life is now. No, this is what life is in stage 3. And stage 3 is functioning, but with a flatness to it. Because think about it, takes a lot of courage to be willing to be vulnerable again. Takes a lot of courage to be willing to trust again. Takes a lot of courage to be willing to let go of the story and all it gives. So instead, what so many of us do is we hang on to our story and all it gives us, because it does. It serves a purpose. But when we see it again, we can't change what we're unaware of. So when we see it, we're able to do something with it. So stage 3 is the most common stage. Now, how do you know you're in stage 3? And I think I'll do another one of these lives where I'll go over the 5 stages. But you know you're in stage 3 when you're fine. I'm fine, right? Typical, classic stage 3. You didn't go through all you went through just to end up after that sort of trauma being fine. It's such a waste of a trauma. And what I also see, because I certify a lot of coaches and therapists and counselors, and this is one of the most missed opportunities, because when your client gets to this place of fine, if you're unaware of the 5 stages, you're hearing that and you're thinking, okay, I guess I've taken this person as far as I could. That client is looking at you thinking, I guess this is as good as it's going to get for me. You're kind of feeling like this imposter syndrome, because you're thinking, I don't get it. Why is it that my stuff is so great and lands so well and so often with my other clients? And for some reason with this one, it's just, I don't know if they're resistant. We're just hitting a wall. They're doing something and then they self-sabotage. It's like a people-pleasing thing where they say they're doing something and then they're not. These are all classic signs that this is a betrayal client. And when you're handling a betrayal client as if they're like any of your other clients, it's a gigantic missed opportunity, because there's the language of betrayal. And when you hear something like I'm fine, then as a coach, counselor, therapist, you could say, oh, that's a stage 3 thing. And I know if we shine a spotlight on what stage 4 and stage 5 even looks like, well, there's potential that now at least they see the road in front of them and what's possible. But if they don't know there's anything other than what they're currently experiencing, then they feel like, okay, this is as good as it's going to get. You feel like this is as far as I can take them, and you both don't feel great about the experience, because you know you're a great coach, counselor, therapist, and for some reason there was something with this client, it just wasn't working. Very often it's because they're a betrayal client. Now, if you're the client, if you're the person who's experienced betrayal, very likely you're saying, I mean, this happened years ago. It can't possibly be with me now, right? Logical assumption. And again, logic has nothing to do with betrayal. So, we've studied over 100,000 people to see to what extent they're still struggling. And I share this story often because it really just shows you how long we can stay with an unhealed betrayal. And I'll share this story. We had a woman come in, and she was in her mid 80s, and she had a 70 plus year digestive issue from a family betrayal. She was adopted. They didn't tell her. It was something like that. So 45% of everybody betrayed has a gut issue of some kind. Crohn's, IBS, diverticulitis, reflux, you name it. So for 70 plus years, you can imagine the protocols, the supplements, the medications, the foods, just for her to resign herself to the belief of, I just have a bad stomach. That's who I am. Well, 2 weeks into healing the actual issue, she healed from a 70-year digestive problem. That's what happens when you deal with the root cause. So we assume because it happened a long time ago, we've got to be over it by now. No, not at all. What happens is the experience happens. It creates the symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome, and I can do a whole video on that another time. We wind up medicating and suppressing the symptoms because we're just looking at them separately, not realizing that those symptoms are there because of the unhealed betrayal. When we heal the betrayal, those symptoms all heal. So now imagine, just real briefly, imagine like here's the betrayal. And because of that, we have, let's say, a weight issue, we have a gut issue, we're exhausted, we have immune suppression, we have accelerated aging, we have anxiety, we have sleep issues. So what we do is we wind up medicating and suppressing all of these things, looking at them as all separate issues, right? Or we're anxious. Maybe someone's drinking. We can't sleep. We're taking something to help sleep. We have weight issues. Now we're trying to diet. We have immune issues. We're doing something for that. So what we're doing is we're medicating and suppressing all of those symptoms. But meanwhile, when we get to the root cause, which was the betrayal, that all heals. Okay. So the idea is understand that betrayal is one of those things. Until and unless you intentionally and deliberately heal it, it will show up in your work, in your health, in your relationships. And really what I wanted to do today was just share with you that the smartest people get betrayed, and the smartest people have a really hard time healing from it because your intelligence has nothing to do with it. You can't outwork it. You can't outrun it. You can't outthink it. You need to heal it. So I hope this helps. I'm going to be coming to you live way more often just to share what I know about betrayal recovery. If there's a certain day or time that serves where you can be here and ask me questions live, I would love to have something consistently so I can show up for you at a day and time that works. But in the meantime, just know betrayal is one of the most painful of the human experiences, and there's a proven, predictable, research-based way to heal from all of it. If I can help you, just check out what we have going over at the PBTinstitute.com, and check out the podcast From Betrayal to Breakthrough on YouTube, everywhere else you can find your podcasts. I hope you found this helpful, and thanks so much. I'll see you next time.